The ends justify the means. It is better to be feared than loved. The wise man does at once what the fool does finally. Politics have no relation to morals. Men judge generally more by the eye than by the hand. A wise ruler ought never to keep faith when by doing so it would be against his interests. The one who adapts his policy to the times prospers, and likewise that the one whose policy clashes with the demands of the times does not. There is no avoiding war, it can only be postponed to the advantage of others. All the states, all the dominions under whose authority men have lived in the past and live now have been and are either republics or principalities. The first method for estimating the intelligence of a ruler is to look at the men he has around him. It is much more secure to be feared than to be loved. The lion cannot protect himself from traps, and the fox cannot defend himself from wolves. One must therefore be a fox to recognize traps, and a lion to frighten wolves. The prince must be a lion, but he must also know how to play the fox. Injuries ought to be done all at one time, so that, being tasted less, they offend less. The greatest remedy for anger is delay. He who becomes a prince through the favor of the people should always keep on good terms with them. Men rise from one ambition to another. First, they seek to secure themselves against attack, and then they attack others. Whosoever desires constant success must change his conduct with the times. The more sand has escaped from the hourglass of our life, the clearer we should see through it. War is just when it is necessary, arms are permissible when there is no hope except in arms. It is double pleasure to deceive the deceiver. Keep your friends close, and your enemies closer. The vulgar crowd always is taken by appearances, and the world consists chiefly of the vulgar. Men are so simple and yield so readily to the desires of the moment that he who will trick will always find another who will suffer to be tricked. The promise given was a necessity of the past, the word broken is a necessity of the present. The more you are feared, the more you are hated. It is not titles that honor men, but men that honor titles. It is better to be impetuous than cautious, because fortune is a woman, and if you wish to keep her under it is necessary to beat and ill-use her. Fortune is a river, you must swim or sink, and if you don't swim, you sink. Before all else, be armed. One change always leaves the way open for the establishment of others. When you disarm the people, you commence to offend them and show that you distrust them either through cowardice or lack of confidence, and both of these opinions generate hatred. Where the willingness is great, the difficulties cannot be great. The wish to acquire more is admittedly a very natural and common thing, and when men succeed in this they are always praised rather than condemned. The best fortress is to be found in the love of the people, for although you may have fortresses they will not save you if you are hated by the people. It is not enough for a wise man to say his intentions, he must also act on them. Tardiness often robs us opportunity, and the dispatch of our forces far more than their multitude. Princes and governments are far more dangerous than other elements within society. Men are so simple and yield so readily to the desires of the moment that he who will trick will always find another who will suffer to be tricked. Nature that framed us of four elements, warring within our breasts for regiment, doth teach us all to have aspiring minds. The first method for estimating the intelligence of a ruler is to look at the men he has around him. The choice of a prince is a difficult thing, and when it is a choice of good men, it is more difficult. The prince who holds a city accustomed to freedom will be more at ease in keeping it than one who holds a city that is used to being ruled. The injury that is to be done to a man ought to be of such a kind that one does not stand in fear of revenge. It is the nature of men to be bound by the benefits they confer as much as by those they receive. The wise man does not agitate himself about things beyond his power to alter, and labors to alter things which are in his power. Princes and republics should select intelligent and very able men for their ambassadors, and send with them written instructions in the form of a memorandum book to assist them in the management of affairs. The people desire the commodities of life, but if they are not to be obtained without trouble or pains, they will not seek them; if they are to be obtained easily, they will not value them. The vulgar crowd always is taken by appearances, and the world consists chiefly of the vulgar. A wise ruler ought never to keep faith when by doing so it would be against his interests.